All right, Dr. Bicak, after 13 years as the Vice Chancellor for Academic and Student Affairs, you retired back in 2022. Well, here we are in 2024, so how's retirement going?
Well, I will tell you, Michael, that retirement began well, although I was still working for UNK. About 3/4 retired and 1/4 working on special projects for Doug Christensen, my predecessor. And those included, notably, collaboration with the Medical Center in Omaha.
And then you get this offer. How did this come to be? We knew Chancellor Christensen was stepping down, didn't know what the next steps would be. Who reached out and when, and why'd you take this leap to become interim chancellor?
Well, you know, Doug Christensen announced his retirement in December, effective May 31st, December of 23, effective May 24. And as things unfolded through the winter and early spring, it became clear that a permanent replacement would not be selected in time for the start of this fall semester. So in late April, interim president Chris Kaborik in Varner Hall in Lincoln called and asked if I would consider coming back in a temporary or interim capacity for the position as chancellor. And I told him I would think about it a bit, and it didn't take me long to decide to come back and do this.
Well, it's really cool to see from the outside perspective, given your background with the institution. You're a Kearney native, you're a Kearney State graduate, decades here on staff. Given your history with the community and the institution, what does it mean to you to take this top post?
Michael, it means everything. To me, that this is the most important thing and the most privileged thing that I could be doing at this point in my life. I've long been a Kearney State College, UNK supporter, champion, faculty member, student, administrator. And to me, if I can move the needle forward for us in the near future, that's what I should be all about.
Well, the near future, it's a nice term that could mean months, it could mean longer, we don't really know. What do you know as far as the timeline for how long this interim chancellor position will last?
Mm-hmm. Excellent question. Typically in the university setting, administrative positions take several months to fill. And I would expect to be in place for several months as the search begins to gain momentum in September, going into the fall and into the early spring.
So by 2025, do you think there will be a chancellor? Or are you expecting, you might be able to set out the photos in your office and hang out for a while longer than that?
I would expect that there would be that transition in early 2025, summer or late spring 2025. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you have the title of interim chancellor. That's the top post at the University of Nebraska, Kearney. How do you interpret that role? And do you want to make decisions that affect the long term, or are you focused purely on what's happening over the next 6 months?
That's an excellent question. I think that I have a responsibility and an obligation to sustain those initiatives that have momentum today, but at the same time look ahead over several months, 1, 3, and even 5 years. Whether I'm in place or not, there are key elements of academic movement, student support movement, athletics across this campus that need to and ought to move forward, and I won't hesitate to move them forward.
We've had some fascinating conversations with Dr. Jeff Gold, the new University of Nebraska president. He said he's not in a rush to name new chancellors at UNK and UNMC, even saying he wants to look at the whole structure of the University of Nebraska, see if that's how it should move forward, and that he doesn't know the job description yet for what a chancellor would do at these institutions. Given your extensive background here, what do you think the future leadership of UNK, what should that position look like? Should it be what we're used to, with a locally based, local control chancellor? Should the president's office perhaps have some more influence? How do you see that role?
Well, I would see this as an opportunity to work closely with President Gold and craft a plan that is in the best interests of the University of Nebraska at Kearney, indeed also in the best interests of the University of Nebraska system. It's easy for us to identify differences across our campuses, but it's far more satisfying, if indeed challenging, to look at the commonalities or similarities. One example of how that has unfolded so successfully is our partnership with the Medical Center that's led to expansion of clinical professional programs on our campus. So in short, I expect that we'll work together in understanding what the next steps ought to look like.
Growing enrollment is an eternal goal of every education institution. You're getting a whole new batch of students right now. Where are things at in terms of the student population?
I would say today that the student population is steady. We have yet a little ways to go. There are often students who matriculate at the very last moment, and there are also cohorts of international students that may not arrive until late this week or even early next. So it's a little early to be entirely sure where we'll be. Census date after the first week of the semester will tell us with more solidity.
What is the university currently doing to try to stop the decreasing enrollment trends that we've seen, not only at UNK, but across the whole country? UNK has not been immune to that. What steps need to be taken to continue to fight it?
There's no question that the bread and butter of the University of Nebraska at Kearney has typically been a 100-mile radius around Kearney. We draw so many of our students from our region. That we double down in terms of visits to high schools, interaction with school counselors and teachers across the schools. But we also have a new Nebraskan program, which is I think now 3 years old, in which we make available tuition at a residential in-state rate for students in regional states. An area of growing population is the Front Range of Colorado, from Pueblo to Colorado Springs to Denver to Fort Collins. And there are students that are drawn from that urban area as well. So we're looking within our borders, and we're also looking more intentionally outside the state border.
When students arrive, they're going to see some construction on campus, and I've always heard, talking to administrators, if you don't see construction on a college campus, that's a sign of a problem. There's plenty here, and we're in one of those buildings, but another, of course, is the Christensen Rural Health Education Complex, something that you played a vital role in getting to this stage. 2026, that's the expected opening, but where are we at right now with that construction process?
Great question, and I'm pleased to say that we are both on time and on budget with the Rural Health Education Building, which is the second building that complements the Health Science Education Complex. So Building 1, that complex, and Building 2 will be a remarkable advance in the opportunity for education of clinical professionals in the health sciences in central Nebraska to serve central Nebraska, western Nebraska, and indeed points beyond in the Great Plains.
So that's the physical side of it. We know they need the building, but you need the students to occupy it as well. What needs to happen between now and when that program truly begins to make sure it's staffed at that level and also has students that are ready to go day one?
Mm-hmm. The students will be there. They have been there. The proof of concept is in the first 9 years of the Health Science Education Complex Building 1. At expanded nursing, and for the first time in 2015, 5 or 6 of the allied health areas, PT, PA, MLS, radiography, sonography, other imaging programs, students have filled those classes, UNMC courses, in a UNK building. We expect the same will occur with medicine, pharmacy, and public health, 3 additional colleges. The expectation and requirement at this point is to ensure that we have the faculty, UNMC faculty, to serve those 5 colleges. And that is an undertaking that's been diligently led by folks at UNMC, including Nikki Carrott, Kyle Meyer, Brad Bridigan, so many of the other deans and leaders in Omaha. So I'm fully confident that we'll have the staff in place, the faculty, and the students will be there.
UNK has an impact beyond just the students that are coming onto campus right now. What do you see as UNK's greater purpose for the entire area?
There certainly is, Michael, an economic benefit to the region and in turn to UNK because of our presence in the Kearney community and service to the Tri-Cities area, Kearney, Hastings, Grand Island, and indeed points beyond. Kearney is a remarkable college town in that the city of Kearney embraces the University of Nebraska at Kearney, and the University of Nebraska at Kearney embraces the city of Kearney. That's not true of all college towns. There is not an abrasiveness nor a separation between the two. There is a key integration. Some of that is economic. Our students work across this community and Grand Island, Hastings, and points beyond. They also become professionals. And there are programs in the College of Business and Technology like industrial distribution, supply chain management that directly serve this region. There are also programs in the College of Education, the KTOM program, which is a partnership with Kearney Public Schools to produce teachers for KPS. It's a model that could be expanded to other communities as well. And certainly the College of the College of Arts and Sciences, which includes natural and social sciences, prepares all these students who ultimately matriculate in the medical center programs across the street.
So when the new chancellor is announced and set to become in place, you're going to be sticking around still?
We're home. We live in Kearney. We will stay in Kearney, no question. If I'm asked to do some continual part-time things, I would certainly do so. At the same time, I would readily return to a mostly retired condition.
Well, Dr. Bicak, thank you so much for taking some time.
My pleasure, Michael. Thank you.